Welcome back to the Tip of the Ice-Burgh podcast, brought to you as always by InsideThePenguins.com. Just a quick programming note in case you missed it last week. After next Tuesday's show, we will be taking a quick hiatus. End of that week, the following week, we will be off the entire time. Both of us will be going on vacations and won't have any content for you there, but we will be back and ready to go the final week of August, getting you ready for the start of the 2023-24 season. But with that, let's finish this show off strong with a listener question. This one comes to us from longtime listener of the show, Wesley Reed, on Twitter. He says, now that Ron Hextall is gone, what does Mike Sullivan do with Jeff Carter in this lineup? Horwat, where's Jeff Carter fit?
Yes, Jeff Carter was Ron Hextall's boy. That was his man. I think Mike Sullivan didn't have the same, love affair with him, but I still think there was some sort of affection there. And I think Mike Sullivan will still try and utilize Jeff Carter as much as he can in certain areas. At this point, it seems like he's that overtime faceoff guy that I hate. But does he still get utilized at center is going to be the big question, because he's great at faceoffs, but then what? You need to strap him with a second center almost positionally because of the decline in the defensive zone stuff. And sure, he can take faceoffs, but what else can he bring? It's not much anymore. You want to move him to the wing, but you don't know if Sullivan's going to do that because of those faceoff stats. Damn it. You want to say that he is just a winger on this team anymore? Fourth line left wing? Whichever wing he plays, I forget.
Right.
Right wing. But again, I said this a little bit ago, there's a log jam of forwards on this team all of a sudden. We talked about the log jam on defense for the last couple seasons. This year, there's going to be battles for NHL positions in the forward core, and it's all centered around the bottom six. Sure, Jeff Carter's part of that battle, but there's not much you can do with him other than put him in the lineup or scratch him. And like I said, I
don't think they scratch him.
And I don't think they scratch him. That's exactly it. So he's going to ride that fourth line somewhere. I just don't know where.
I don't think it's the fourth line either. I really don't. I do think that he ends up playing third line right wing to start the season.
Oh, boy.
At least out of the gates, because Dubas did arm Sullivan with other center options, right? He brought in Lars Eller. He called him important. I don't remember the exact phrasing they used, but he basically said he was one of the keys, or he said it was really, really key to get Lars Eller. There it was. It took me a while to find it.
But then Lars Eller pretty much said he's ready to play third line center.
Yeah, practically said, they brought me in to play third line center. Nola Chari came in very, very easily. You can tell that that's the fourth line center for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I think when you look at Jeff Carter and the struggles he had last year, it wasn't the faceoff dot, but it was the rest of playing the center ice position. It was trying to lead that line. It was trying to be defensively responsible in the way that he needed to be. Whereas if you move him to wing and you take some of that responsibility away, probably helps him out a little bit more as well. Also helps him out that he was healthy all of last season, right? So while yes, he is 38 years old. Yes, he does not, the legs, you could tell the legs fell off last season. He's entering the year fully healthy. You take away a lot of that responsibility by bumping him to the wing. And I also don't think the Penguins acquired anybody really that automatically bumps him down from the third line. Like, who does that? Who automatically bumps him down from the third line to at least the fourth line? Is it Nylander? Like, I liked Nylander, and clearly he showed something to Mike Sullivan, and Sullivan liked what he saw there as well, because he put him up on the second line for a couple of shifts, a couple of games. But is Nylander in the position, especially if he doesn't have a great camp, to come in and bump Jeff Carter from the third line down to the fourth line? I wouldn't say as of right now that he's there. So I think unless somebody like Nylander, and I don't think there's very many other people that could come in and do this, unless Nylander comes in and impresses a lot at training camp, I think Jeff Carter starts at the right wing on the third line.
Yeah, that's very much possible too. It's where he played a lot of last year, that third line role. It's a matter of everyone else that's in this, that is now being put into this fight for organizational spots, and they're not going to take him out of it. He's going to be part of the battle. He's going to be part of the competition per se, but he's been given the biggest of head starts in here's what his contract is, here's his clauses, here's his veteran leadership assets as well. And I mean, yeah, it's great. The locker room loves him. They're supposed to. They're supposed to be teammates. They're supposed to enjoy each other. I don't know what else you can do with him. That's a big part of it. A third line does seem like a lot to me, but that's just to me and to many others. But if that's where he starts, it's where he starts. The lineup you see on opening night, for obvious reasons, is not the same one you see heading into the postseason.
Oh, it never is. No,
it's not supposed to be. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised wherever he gets placed. I wouldn't be surprised to see.
Yeah, I mean the third line to start last season was Heinen, Carter, Kapanen,
and going into the year, we thought that wasn't terrible.
Two of them are gone, and one of them, if he didn't have a contract with all these fail safes, would probably be gone as well.
Yeah, because going into the season, we thought Heinen came back on a really team-friendly deal because he could have probably earned quite a bit on the open market, and he was on the open market for quite a while. Saw how that went. And we had high expectations for Heinen going into the year. Thought maybe he can try and repeat some of what he did for $1 million. It's a great idea. Carter, I think the wheels had started to fall off, but we knew that's where he was on the team. We knew he was going to be the third line center. He was still a meme at that point. We thought, all right, third line center, not bad. Let's see what we can roll with. And Kapanen, we were just hoping for a bounce back year. We didn't like the deal he signed, but we were just hoping there was something in the water that could help him out. And guess what? All three of them, nope. And like you said, two of them are gone. One of them is still here and fading quickly.
Ron Hextall said Kapanen's in a relationship that I think is really getting him in the right mindset. That didn't work, Ron. Let's not sign contracts based on somebody's relationship status. But clearly that wasn't the only factor. But the fact that even was something that he mentioned when discussing it was kind of crazy. But no, with Jeff Carter, listen, he scored double-digit goals last season still. It was a horrible season, don't get me wrong, and the optics were terrible, and he scored a couple of shorthanded goals, or not shorthanded goals, empty net goals, but he scored double-digit goals. If he can do that again in a mitigated third-line role, hopefully at some point somebody emerges and pushes him to the fourth line, and he can bring some sort of a scoring punch on the fourth line. Is it great? Again, no. It's like the Granlund thing. Is it great? No. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, it's not. You could do worse than Jeff Carter. I honestly think that last year Carter was still a better option than most of the people in the AHL, right? Like Drake Caggiula, it's probably a wash if not Carter gets a one-up because of experience and the ability to shift to center. Like there are reasons that he's still somebody that's going to get more than a healthy scratched role. But I also think coming into this season, the leash is a little bit shorter. I think Mike Sullivan would be a little bit more willing to sit him down if he's struggling and say, listen, you're going to take a game here, maybe 2 games here, and we're going to put you in the press box.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that also really helped Carter along with his numbers last season was he had a pretty good start to the season.
True.
Right? First couple games, it was like the first 4, he had 2 goals for 4 total points. Through the first 20, he had 11 points, 3 of them goals. Now, that's not, for a third line guy, it's not terrible, especially to start the season. Maybe you find some footing. But that was it. That was kind of just the trend for the rest of the season. It was all downhill from there. And some of these games, man, it's long streaks of no points.
Yes.
It's quite ugly. I mean, but he had a good start to the season, and that's what helped his numbers along because you mentioned 10-plus goals. Yeah, the optics were empty netters, this, that, the other. But he also started with 2 in the first 4 games. So a little bit of a handicap there.
Yeah, obviously, Jeff Carter is still a negative asset when it comes to contract-wise. You don't want to pay, 3.75? 2.75? I think it's 3.7 or something like that million. 3.25 million.
Pull up the magic number. Oh, where does he go? There it goes.
Something around there. I don't know why.
3.125.
3.125. That's why. It's because one of those freaking 3 after the decimal point contracts that I hate. No, 3.125. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Still a negative asset when it comes to the contract, but it is the final year of his contract, and then maybe he can get promoted into Amanda Kessel's role once she gets promoted to assistant GM next season. Just looking ahead. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Tip of the Iceberg. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.